Hello everyone, today I'll be talking about the relationship between happiness and social responsibility among undergraduate students across cultural perspective. My name is Sun Xiaotong and I'm happy to share this research with you. First, I will give a bit background on why this topic is important. College students are the future of our society, so understanding their well-being and the sense of social responsibility is crucial. We define happiness here as how people feel about their life, basically their subjective well-being, including positive emotion and life satisfaction. Social responsibility means how much the person cares about and helps their community. Such as through volunteering or other pro-social actions. Previous studies suggest that students who engage more in helping others tend to feel happier. However, most of those studies focus on single cultures. We still don't know much about how cultural difference might change the relationship between being responsible and being happy. That's the gap this research aims to fill. With that in mind, we focus on two main research questions. First, what's the relationship between happiness and social responsibility among students? In other words, do students who are more socially responsible also tend to be happier? And to what extent? Second, how do cultural values influence this relationship? We are particularly interested in contrast between individualistic and collectivist cultures. To put it simply, does the link between helping others and feeling happy look different for students in China versus students in Europe? These questions will guide our study. Before moving on, let me clarify the key variable we are examining. The first is happiness. We consider happiness as a person's overall subjective well-being, basically how positive and satisfied they feel about their own life. We measure this using a standard happiness index questionnaire. The second variable is social responsibility, means an individual's tendency to engage in action that benefits society. This could include volunteering, helping others, or making ethical decisions. We assess this using the conscientiousness section of Big Five personal test, since being conscientious often reflects reliability and the sense of duty to others. The third key variable is cultural values, especially individualism versus collectivism. This refers to whether someone's cultural background emphasizes personal independence or group harmony. What have others found about this topic? A lot of previous research suggests a strong connection between helping others and being happy. For example, a study in 2020 by Zhou and colleagues surveyed over 2,500 Chinese university students. They found that students who frequently engaged in pro-social activities like volunteering or helping classmates report significantly higher happiness levels. In short, those who give back to society tend to feel more satisfied with their own life. This is not too surprising. Doing good deeds can give people a sense of connection and purpose, which boosts mood and well-being. There are other theories also explain why social responsibility might increase happiness, such as broaden and build theory, which suggests that when we are experiencing positive emotions, for instance, the joy from helping someone, our mind actually broadens, and over time we build up resources like friendship, skills, and resilience. In other words, doing good not only feels good in the moment, it can also lead to more support and strength in the long term, which makes us happier. Another one is self-determination theory by Deci and Rain, says that people have basic psychological needs, which are to feel competent, to feel autonomous in control of their choices, and to feel related or connected to others. Socially responsible acts, such as volunteering, can satisfy all three needs. We learn and demonstrate skills refers to competence. We choose to help refers to autonomy, and we connect it to other refers to relatedness. Fulfilling those needs makes a person happier. Yet another perspective came from social identity theory. It posed that we derive self-esteem and happiness from our group membership. If we contribute to our community, we see ourselves as a valuable member of society, which boosts our self-worth and, in turn, our happiness. So theory strongly supports the idea that helping others can make us happier. However, it's important to note that most of these studies and theories have been developed in particular cultural setting and may not universally apply. There are some evidence that culture changed the dynamic. For example, one study by Oysterman and others found that in collectivist cultures where people value group harmony and family community goals, common in East Asia, helping others and being responsible might be even more integral to one's identity and happiness. In contrast, in individualist culture, which emphasize personal freedom and individual goals, common in West, the link between social responsibility and happiness might be weaker or take in a different form, because people may consider personal achievement first. This suggests that culture could influence how strongly being socially responsible translated to feeling happy. That's exactly why our study takes a cross-cultural perspective to see if the pattern we expect hold true in both Chinese and European context. Based on the theory and past findings, we formulated two hypotheses. Hypo 1, there is a positive relationship between happiness and social responsibility. In simple terms, we expect that students who demonstrate higher social responsibility, for example, those who volunteer or help others more often, will also have a higher level of happiness. And the hypothesis 2 is cultural values will moderate this relationship between happiness and social responsibility. This means we think the strength of the link will change depending on cultural context. Especially, we predict this relationship might be stronger in a collectivist culture like China, and probably weaker in a more individualist culture like those in Europe. We will test these hypotheses with our data. Now I will explain how we conducted the study. We will use a quantitative survey approach in a single cross-sectional survey, means we collected all the data at one point in time. We will collect responses from two groups of students. Each group will include about 200 undergraduate students. One group from several universities in China, another one from several European countries, such as Germany, France, Hungary, or Spain. All participants should be at least 18 years old and full-time students. We will reach them online using university email list, student forums, and social media. Participation will entirely voluntary and anonymous. We won't collect name or any identifying information, so students would answer honestly without worrying about being identified. We will also have a couple of screening questions. For instance, we would not include anyone who indicated having serious mental health issues, because that could heavily influence their happiness independently from social responsibility. Each participant will fill out an online questionnaire, which will include three main sections. First, a happiness survey to measure their subjective well-being. Basically, the question will be about how satisfied they are with their life and how they generally feel. Second, a set of questions will assess social responsibility. Instead of directly asking, "Are you socially responsible?" we will use a well-known personality inventory, the conscientiousness subscale of the Big Five personality traits. Conscientious people tend to be organized, reliable, and dutiful, which tie into being responsible and often include a sense of duty to others and society. Third, a cultural value section where we will use an individualism, collectivism skills. This will ask students about their attitude and preference that indicate whether they tend to individualistic value or collectivistic value more. We will provide the survey in each participant's native language. For Chinese students, we will use a Chinese platform called 问卷星, and for European students, we will use Google Form in English or other possible languages. The survey will take about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. After data collection, we will apply the analysis. We will calculate a Pearson correlation coefficient to see if there is a significant association between the happiness score and social responsibility score across all students. Then, to address the cultural aspect, we will perform an ANOVA to see if Chinese and European students will differ in either their level of happiness, levels of social responsibility, or the strengths of the relationship between the two. These analyses will help us to find out if our hypothesis holds the truth. Every study has its limitations, and it's important to be aware of them. First, our research is cross-sectional, means we collect all data at one time. This approach does not allow us to determine causality. So, even if we find that more socially responsible students are happier, we cannot be sure if being responsible makes them happier or being happier makes them more inclined to be responsible, or if some other factor influenced both. We can only say the two variables are related, but couldn't know which causes which. So a future study needs following students over time to see cause and effect more clearly. Second, our sample is limited to undergraduate students, which is a fairly specific group. Because we only study college students, our finding might not apply to other groups like older adults, working professionals, or people who didn't attend college. The college environment might have unique effect on happiness and social responsibility. For example, schools often encourage volunteering, so we have to be careful in extending our conclusion to a broader population. Future study could include more diverse sample to see if this relationship holds true outside of the university setting. Third, we use self-report questionnaires, which can have some bias. People may answer in ways that make them look good or match what they think is expected. This is called social desirability bias. We keep answer anonymous to help reduce this, but it cannot be fully avoided. Also, people may understand questions differently or may not judge their own behavior well, which can affect occurrence. In the future, using other methods like interview, peers or teacher reports, or watching behavior could help check if the self-reports are correct. To summarize, our study examined whether helping others and contributing to society is linked to greater happiness among college students, and whether the link is working in the same way in different cultures. We anticipate finding that students who are more socially responsible are tend to be happier, which support the idea that doing good is feeling good. We also expect to see difference between cultures. Finally, those are the references that I use for this research. Thank you for listening.